Good morning. Happy Monday. Today is Monday. I got it right. You're watching John McEntyre Show live. I'm John McEntyre. And I had to say that because I've been saying I stayed on Wednesday for a couple of days. Then I was on Thursday. Then I went back to Tuesday. So now I got it right. Today is Monday. But yeah, hope everyone had a good weekend. Uh, we took a break there. We had some traveling to do, family reunion, and then we went. As you can see, we saw last week. We did a live from Hilton Head, and we were planning to do more lives there. But we had a visitor. Her name was Debbie, and when she was in Florida, but she pretty much was showing herself in Hilton Head, even though she was 60 miles off the coast of Miami. And so doing live video wasn't exactly on our, on our priority, high on our priority list. We were just making sure everything was, um, taken care of, and we fortified the fort so we could be safe because we pretty much wrote it out there. When we did the live video, it had passed. Well, it was in the process of passing. One of the tails had went around, and we were waiting on another because as soon as the live was done, another big storm hit. So we basically did that, and we fought storms on the way home, driving up, going through storms. Saw a lot of wrecks. Um, a lot of insurance claims. I saw insurance claims. So, but we made it home safe and everything. So, but it is what it is. We enjoyed ourselves. Restaurants were still open. They were like, we used to it. We're used to it here. So I was like, yeah, as long as I get ice cream, pizza, barbecue, burgers, all of that good stuff, you know, I was good. So, but we hope that all other people were safe out there. Some areas was hit much harder, and there was actually quite a few deaths that went behind this, and it's actually finally moved off the coast up north there. And I actually saw where New York, they had declared a state of emergency, and they've already decided that they're going to give each resident $50,000 to go towards the repairs that they receive. Any damage that they receive, they will be receiving a $50,000 check. So that being said, you may want to check out to see what your state is going to be doing, if they're going to do anything, uh, because a lot of times they may not make it so obvious. So it may be a good idea to actually make a call to see what's going on there. So with that being said, like I said, hope everyone was safe. And we're going to get into today's show. I'm going to share some wallet wins. Uh, I'm going to actually cover the past question of the day before I give the other one. And then I'm going to answer a question which was asked by someone that we were working with. Well, actually, they're working with Andrea, and she brought it to my attention. This would be a good topic to cover, an answer to question to answer today. So let's get into these wallet wins. And I feel like I haven't done this in like almost a year or something like that. I'm like, wow, it wasn't even 2 weeks. And I feel like I've been gone forever. But here we go. Wallet win number one. Completed all of my kids' school shopping. Check that one off the list ourselves. We did it. Um, and we know our shop is going to get more expensive because now we have someone driving to school. So, yeah, it is what it is. Well, let's get on past that one. Wallet win number two. This was a Debbie one. Hurricane Debbie. Our vacation home was hit by Debbie. However, the only damage was a couple of strips of vinyl siding. So we're paying for the repairs out of our pocket, so we won't be filing a claim on our homeowner's insurance. Yep, that is a good win. The less claims you file, the better. And so, uh, and I've heard that a number of times from people that were saying, yes, I sustained, some minor damage. I'm just going to cover it out of my pocket. I'm not going to bother the insurance company about it because number one, it'll probably be slow, and I want to get it taken care of and get it out of the way before the contractors get busy. So that is something to think about. Um, when something like this happens, hurricanes, tornadoes, any, natural disasters, and it causes a lot of damage, contractors are busy, super busy. And so they have, like, and some of them, they want, do they want set a limit on how many jobs they're going to take. They're going to say yes to as many of them as possible, and 6 months later you're still waiting. So you want to get into the process as quickly as possible to catch the contractors before they're busy, so that they can jump on yours. And they're usually happy when you say, I'm going to pay out of my pocket. You can negotiate when you're going to pay out of your pocket. You can negotiate a better deal, and because they know they're going to get paid, they don't have to wait for insurance and things like that. So they'll be much quicker to work with you, and you can actually negotiate with them. So that's something to have in mind. Uh, Wallet win number 3: our daughter is receiving some more scholarship money. That is a good wallet win. I love hearing that one about the education costs being taken care of, because if we can keep those student loan debts as low as possible, or even zero, the much better. Mainly because a lot of people, they will stop contributing to the retirement to pay for kids' college, and it's just too much money out there to do that. Most of the time it's happening because of procrastination or lack of planning. And the ones that do plan for it, they're doing fine. They're doing great. And that's the worst thing, is to stop contributing to retirement, because the people that we're talking to now that's going into retirement, pre-retirees, retirees, they're saying, yeah, I mean, I remember I stopped because I paid for college. I had to pay for kids' college. And then, and you have 2 or 3 children going to college, you can lose a lot of time, um, that the money could be working for you and growing and everything. And so that's one of the main reasons that a lot of people are a little bit behind on retirement, is because they shut things down to pay for school, pay for this kid's school. And so I had in my mind, I was like, well, if that did happen, we're planning we're on top of it. I said, but if it did happen, I made a suggestion to a few people. I was like, well, just send your child a bill and just say, this is what you owe me, and then you can put that back into your Roth or your 401k. But hey, this is America. Hey, you don't know. If you don't ask, you don't get. It may happen. I don't know. Try it. Um, and I told Bella that when she was like 3. So, if we pay for your college, you're gonna owe us this much money. And I'm not taking snacks or anything like that. Cold hard cash. So yeah, there we go. So we have 3 good wallet wins out of the way there. Uh, Completed the school shopping, good. Vacation home taken care of, that was hit by Debbie, actually paying for the repairs out of pocket. And the daughter is receiving some more scholarship money. So that's 3 good wallet wins for today. And before I actually got into the question of the day was, I had asked the question of the day yesterday, day before yesterday. I had posted it on Facebook. I was just asking, um, do who still writes checks? Because I was at a grocery store, and actually we were in Hilton Head, and I mean, place is busy. It's busy. And one of the people, one of the retirees lives on the island. My first question was, why are you shopping this time of the day when there's so many people coming on the island? It's the time. There's a certain time where people, like, it's not like a slow trickle thing. It seems like in this small window of time, everyone decides to come to the island, and the first stop that they make is Walmart. And especially they knew that Debbie was on its way up the coast. So Walmart was like crazy packed. I mean, it was packed. Um, it was so packed, people with buggies full. They were going through the self checkout, where normally that's limited to, what, I think 12 items or less, 15 items or less, or something like that. No, these people had 2 or 3 buggies, and they were going through, and the people at Walmart, they were like, we don't care, we just want all of these people out of here. And so, I mean, they were stocking, and stuff was just jumping off shelves as quickly as possible. Well, this lady, she decides, and she done some, she did some serious shopping, and she pulled out the checkbook, and you can see the people's faces. They're like, oh my, you could just see them like, oh gosh, and you could read people's lips like, she's still writing checks. Well, where's she writing checks now? And I'm thinking to myself, I've seen it plenty of times. Coming from a smaller town, you see it a lot anyway, because that's just the way they did it. And those people are usually they're usually in better financial shape than other people because they're tracking and they're balancing. So she's sitting there, she writes a check and she balanced the checkbook while she's there. And so you could tell that the checkout girl, she was behind running the cash register. She was looking like, like, what in the world is this? You could tell she had probably only seen it a few times herself, and she was like, I bet you if that lady would say, could you fill this check out for me, she wouldn't have known where to start on that check. But so that triggered a question. I was thinking, I was like, I wonder how many people actually, that'd be a good question of the day. So I put it out there, and I just wanted to read a couple of people. Selena, she said that she still write checks for certain things. Um, Monica, she says she still uses checks just for church. She writes a check for church. She's paying her tithes and offering. Then yeah, that's understandable. It's no big deal. That's what I think. I thought that was the last time we wrote a check, but Andrea, she told me the last time we wrote a check was for Bella's school. We still have to write a check every now and then for school. If something in particular is going on, and it's not on the list of account that the account can't take care of, so you have to pay for it outside of the account. So yeah, that was a good question of the day. But that was so funny when she pulled out her checkbook. You can see, and you have these people that, they come to Hilton Head. Most of them, they're from up north, New York, places like that. So they're like, fast fish. Like, what is he doing? You could just see him like, what is she doing? Like this. And you could tell the lady, she was like oblivious, or she probably has heard it 1,000 times, and she was writing out her check. She was like, what exactly is that? And she was writing in like, I don't have anything else to do. And people around, they were like dying. And it was just so funny. It was funny to see that. So that's why I wanted to cover that question the other day. I will have another one, but I just wanted to share that story. It was just so funny to me to see someone writing a check. All right, let's get into this question for today, which is a really good question. Um, this question is: I'm 25 years old, I'm single, and I share an apartment with a roommate. I have I have been educating myself on money matters, and I'm getting conflicted information about buying life insurance. So my question is, should I buy life insurance now, even though I am single with no major assets? And it's a valid question. Um, and I can understand where the conflicting information is coming from also, because it's so many. And I mean, I don't understand why. I'll give the answer: yes, you should buy insurance, and I cover the some of the top points why. But it's so funny that so many advisors are saying, you don't have anything, you don't own anything, no one depends on you for income, things like that. So you don't really need life insurance. We did discuss this on like one of our very first lives. If you wanted to go back to watch it, where we went in depth about it. And I don't even think we covered this particular point because we were covering so much information at that time. Um, but I've always, ever since I began to understand life insurance, personal finance, things like that, I've always been puzzled on why advisors would tell younger people not to buy life insurance. Um, and I kind of understand why some of them are like that, because maybe their parents or someone told them, don't listen to someone that's trying to push life insurance on you, things like that, and people become uh, sort of nervous about salespeople and everything. But if you're talking to the right advisor, they won't just tell you to buy life insurance. They're going to look at the entire picture, like what we're doing, and like what Andrea was doing with this particular person, and they put the question to us like this. So yeah, that's what it came. It's just bad advice given. The reason why you should buy life insurance at 25, especially if you're single and you don't have a lot of assets, which is the best time to buy life insurance, in my opinion. That's the route that we took with it. Uh, Number one, insurance, life insurance, all insurance, that's the foundation of your financial plan anyway, because insurance is for the what ifs. And I put it like I want to paint a picture like this. One of the things I've always liked at circuses was the tightrope walker. And when you're watching from television, most of the time the camera is like zoomed in on the person walking the tightrope. They have the bar and they're, slowly moving forward. Now, every now and then the camera will flash to the crowd and everything just to get just to create all of the tension, people's faces and stuff. Well, what's usually not in the camera, we know it's there, but usually what's not in the camera shot is a safety net. And the safety net stretches from one end of the rope to the other. So when the person, as soon as they step on the rope, the safety net is already there. The safety net is there even before they step on the rope. Before they even go up there to get on the rope, they're making sure that that safety net is in place and that it will catch them. They even do some practice jumps, like jumping off stuff to land in it to see if it will catch the weight and hold up and everything like this. So they're not just running up there running across a rope. They're making sure that that safety net. That's what insurance is for. As you're walking through life, as you're moving through life, insurance is something you don't see, but it's there to catch you just in case you fall. Illness, whatever, job loss, disability insurance, things like that. Your car, your driving, your home. Like, Debbie's coming up. Debbie came up the coast, did a lot of damage. That's when people that probably didn't care about insurance started caring about their insurance agent during that time, because that was the person they had to talk to make sure they get their money. And that's what insurance is there for. It's not for you. It's not sexy. It's nothing, big to talk about or whatever, but it is very important. And it's one of those things it's not really important until you need it. And you can't really get it when you need it. You buy insurance when you don't need it. It's hard to get insurance once you've been, for instance, health insurance. If you wait till you get cancer or something like that, now you're trying to get it. You could get it, but it's going to be expensive. Um, if you buy it when you don't need it, you're younger, everything is much cheaper. That's the way I see life insurance. That's the best time to buy it. When you're young and healthy. You can buy a ton of insurance, like term policy. I remember when Andrea, years ago, we was looking at everything. It was time to look at life insurance, and it was so cheap. The policy that I was going to get, I was like, well, why don't we just buy double that? Because it was just so cheap at the time. I was 30 years old. I was like, I was expecting it to be much more. And then once I saw it, we both doubled our amount. We just both doubled it. And which goes into another thing. Once I learned about insurance, and I learned from one of my mentors, it was like, buy as much insurance as you can afford and just grow into it. That way it won't be a surprise to you. You see that your wealth or whatever, your assets have grown, and then you think, like, wait a minute, I have this much wealth built and I only have this much insurance. So now you have to buy more insurance. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. Where if you buy it here, there, and your wealth grow into it, it won't be such a big shock to you. Because normally that's what happens. The price shocks the person. They've gotten older, and now they see, you know, I'm really going to have to tighten up if I'm going to get life insurance or health insurance or whatever, because you're going to need some type of insurance as you move through life, and the insurance will get more expensive as you age, as you go through life. We talk to a lot of people now that's going into Medicare, for instance, and they're looking at Medicare plans. Even though there are a lot of Medicare plans that have zero uh, uh, premiums, uh, the insurance that does the most, that would be more beneficial for them, actually has a premium. And had they planned a little bit better in pre-retirement, they would be able to afford that. So then they need it. And that's just an example of, when you're aging. But when you're younger, you can actually buy a lot of insurance. You can get a big bang for your buck. And you've seen some of these insurance companies that are showing that. So you can get a term policy for a low cost, um, that and when you're younger, less health issues, especially now. These policies, a lot of these policies, that they don't even ask certain questions anymore. Used to be a time. Now if you're going to get certain types of insurance, sure, you have to go through the full, you have to go to the doctor, do things like that, have work done, make sure everything is working, make sure you're healthy, because that does dictate whatever. Also things like sometimes your credit score affects, your insurance, what type of insurance you can get. And so you have to look forward to those, make sure and have those things in mind. So when you're younger, your credit should be much better, things like that. So you can actually get a better rating, insurance, lower costs, longer terms, things like that. If you decide to get term, and some people, they may decide to do maybe some whole life or something like that. And that's up. Um, um, and so, that's just one of the things you want to keep in mind. Foundation of financial plan, cheap term. Now, third question, the most important one that I've asked people plenty of times was, if you did pass away in the next 5 years, who would bury you? Who would pay for your burial? You know, and now you have the blank look. They never thought of it that way, because when you're in your 20s, I know when I was in my 20s, I was an immortal. I was like, I never die. I mean, and people would talk about, what are you going to do, in the afterlife? I'm not going to have an afterlife because I'm going to be here the entire time. Everybody else may die. I'm not going to die. As I got older and a couple of pains started to settle in and mortality knocked on the door, I was like, yeah, I'm glad I did buy that insurance. So now that I'm old, I can tell the younger generation, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's happening every day, and I'm sorry to say it, and I hate it. As much as I hate it, it seems like people are dying. It's like so many young people are passing away now, even from diseases that used to be considered what they call old people diseases and things. These people in their 20s and 30s actually dying from these diseases now. So, and some of them, all they had was maybe a car and, the clothes on their back and what they had in their apartment or whatever. Well, it had to be taken care of. And it's not good if your parents or the people around you who may be responsible for that having to set up a GoFundMe. That's just a GoFundMe is just not a good plan. It's not a good insurance plan. So that's why I said that. I had someone, and I always share this story, is because, and don't laugh. At that time, I had hair. I was at the barbershop. The barber, he had about 3 insurance agents at the time. He was cutting their hair, and they was like, you have kids, you have this, you have any life insurance? I'll worry about that when I get older. Uh, we was late 30s. We late 30s. I'll worry about that when I get older. Um, I got other things to take care of. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and that's money I can be doing something else with. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, he had a heart attack, and I mean a massive heart attack. Died in his vehicle. And how I found out about it, it was posted on Facebook with a link to GoFundMe. His kid's mother, he was not married to her. She set up a GoFundMe because he had the child by her. So they were, and everyone knew them. So they were like, okay, who's going to take care of this? Parents had both had passed away years ago. He didn't have much family or whatever, and the family it really didn't deal with him that much, and so it was just friends. So it was a GoFundMe page set up, and just someone that really liked him, had dealt with him a long time, a local businessman, basically stepped up and said, because the GoFundMe didn't cover everything, he stepped up and said he's going to take care of it. So out of the generosity of this businessman, who had known him a long time. Basically, hadn't it been for that, we don't know what would have happened. Everyone contributed, but I tell that story all the time because it was so weird to me that less than 2 weeks. I mean, we're talking about playing basketball. He's talking about doing this, taking the kid there, playing and everything. 2 weeks, massive heart attack, and he's gone. You know, so that's a story for the ages. That's a story I will always share when I'm talking to someone younger and they bring it up. I tell them that story. It's one of those. Everyone has stories that they keep and that they use because it is a great life lesson. That's one of them. So you want to make sure, if anything, who's going to take care of your burial if you passed away before natural causes took you out of this world. And then also, you may want to leave money to something. You may want to leave it to a church. You may want to leave it to, you may want to make someone beneficiary, family member, parent or someone to, pay, do something. And that's what life insurance will do for you. But that's for another show. We have covered that before. But those are the top 3 points that I wanted to cover to answer this question. I hope it did answer the question. And it may cause someone to really think about this. And you can get in touch with us, and we do free financial checkups, 1 hour free 1 hour checkups, and we check every area, and insurance, making sure that's one of the first ones we check because it's so foundational. And usually that's the place where the financial plan is usually the weakest. So I have to take care of that one and get that one on track and start building on that foundation there. All right, so before I go here, I have the new question of the day, which is because it came from, I was thinking about the lady with the writing out the check at the store in Hilldead. Uh, Most people, we use cards, and the question of the day is: do you prefer to make purchases with a debit card or do you use a credit card? Because some people, they even more particular about that. They would rather use a credit card and just pay it off because it adds extra. They perceived extra protection. So that is the question of the day. Do you prefer to make purchases with a debit card or do you use a credit card? All right. I hope that the information was beneficial to you today. And if so, like our pages, like the channel, share it, subscribe. Um, if you need any assistance with any areas of your personal finance, our information is on the screen. Don't hesitate to call us. So until tomorrow, same time, same channels, we'll talk.